New York Talk, episode 164. I'm your host, Elyse DeLucci. How are you doing, people? End of the summer. Oh, I couldn't be more thrilled. I am not a summer girl with eczema and rosacea and stickiness and sweat. I cannot welcome pumpkin spice, whatever you want to call it, season fast enough, okay? Fast enough. Fact of the day, the rarest pasta in the world. Rarest pasta in the world. Do you know what this is called? And by the way, I should say the rarest macaroni in the world, but, you know, I'm going to be classy. Rarest pasta in the world. Do you know? It's called Threads of God. It is super, super fine macaroni, and it's made by pulling and folding semolina dough into 256 strands. And when it's done, it almost looks like it's a cheesecloth. It's so incredibly super fine. It is so hard to make that only 10 people in the entire world know how to make this. I swear, look this up, Threads of God. It's a pasta that comes out of Sardinia. It's an ancient recipe. I think it was Jamie Oliver or something, you know, the British cook. I think he tried to make it, and after 4 hours, he quit. It's incredible. I don't know of any restaurants that serve it. I don't know anything about it, except that I stumbled upon this in a book I had, and I was like, I never, ever seen this or heard of it. It's incredible. I'm fascinated. If you go to Sardinia, try to find it, DM me, message me, I don't care, email me, whatever you gotta do. I need to know what this tastes like. Like, does it taste like angel hair? You know, thinner than angel hair? Is it so fine that you don't even taste it and it almost feels, you know, that feeling of like when you have like a hair in your mouth? Or, I mean, it can't feel like that. Or does it actually come together because it's so fine that it actually, once it has sauce on it, it actually starts to bind, you know, itself. And I can't imagine that either. But anyway, I am very curious to know. Moving on, Tony Danza is at Cafe Carlisle at the end of September. I have been trying to get tickets. No luck so far, okay? If you don't know Cafe Carlisle, it's in the Carlisle Hotel. It's one of the most fabulous places. I've seen Jane Lynch there. Elaine Stritch, you know, was there. A lot of people. Who else? I see Michael Feinstein has been there. It's like an amazing cabaret room, and it's very expensive. You buy a ticket, and then on top of that, you know, you have to pay for dinner. It's a full dinner. I think the ticket, and you know, the tickets are sometimes they're like $200, and then the dinner is like another $200. I mean, it's really a very expensive night out. But Tony Danza's there. He's doing a night singing Sinatra, and I'm just like, I need to go. And more fool me, because I was getting the emails. Of course, I'm on the email list, and I didn't buy the tickets. I got them like in June, and I was like, I'll get to it. And lo and behold, I did not. Also, Sebastian is coming to New York City in September. I will be there. Maybe I'll see you there. No, I am not performing with him. I should, though. I should. I know him, and I should. But, you know, it's a thing. We're not going to get into that. Moving on. Okay. What can I tell you? Oh, I'm reading this new book, When Things Fall Apart. Wait, I have it right here. Let me get it. Oh, it's right here. Hold on. Okay, I think it was on Oprah's list, okay? So we're going to do a little book talk. When Things Fall Apart by Pema Chodron. She is a Buddhist nun, and it's When Things Fall Apart, hard advice for difficult times. And it's about... it's not really related to breakups and heartache, but it also kind of is. And that's not why I'm reading it. I'm reading it more for like just a different point of view of when things don't work out how you pictured them or planned them to be. More about my marriage, you know, or I should say my past marriage, as the girls are getting older. it's getting more and more difficult for me to understand the fact that, you know, I had like a really bad breakdown and it shattered my life for a few years, and I am divorced. I know that sounds crazy because I'm on stage talking about being divorced. I am in a relationship. I, you know, am pretty happy, have a happy disposition, or at least what you see online. But I definitely struggle with like a lot of confusion, you know, and I have doctors and there's all kinds of everything that I have to do and talk about, and I try to be mindful and stay in the present. But one of the things that I like to do is, you know, I said this in the past, I read a lot, and one of my girlfriends, Stephanie, you know, which I feel like you're on a first name basis with all my friends by now. She's always saying to me, stop reading. You're always reading. Why you have to read all this stuff? Like then it gets in your head. And the thing is first of all, if money was never an object, I would go to school for the rest of my life. I love to learn things. I've always been like that. I was always that person that sat at the front row in class. Like I love to learn things. I like to read, and I like to read nonfiction, right? So I like to read these books that can offer me a different point of view or give me some insight on why certain things happen to us, or particularly, and maybe specifically, I should say, or particularly how we cope with them, right? Jay Shetty wrote the book Think Like a Monk, which I thought was fabulous. He wrote another book, and I can't remember what it's called, Love Something, you know, a few years after that. And what I liked about Jay Shetty's book, and, you know, you have to follow him on Insta if you don't, but, you know, everybody kind of knows who he is. But what I love about his book is he talks to you in a very casual way. He's not talking to you like in this, you know, theologian sort of speak. And Pema Chodron is the same way. She does, it gets intense, you know, she does reference a lot. She does a lot of Buddhist references. It's unlike Jay. It's not like she came from the corporate world or whatever and became a Buddhist. Like she became, I mean, this is her career. Her life work is being a teacher, a spiritual teacher, and her involvement in the Buddhist religion. But she does drop some F-bombs here and there. Like she does, you know, say things like, you got to snap out of it. And just things. You know, here's what it says on the back of the book. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it's the first 3 lines I think are important. Life is a good teacher and a good friend, and things are always in transition if we can only realize it. Nothing ever sums itself up in the way that we like to dream about. The off-center and in-between state is an ideal situation. And it goes on. So it's a heavy book. It's a book that I'm not, you know, plowing through. I read like a few pages at a time, and then I put it in my little office, which is technically a table next to my lazy boy chair in my living room, or I put it in my little bookshelf by my bed, which is really like a Tupperware on the floor next to my bed. And I am taking it in. Another book that I'm reading that I'm liking, that's totally on the other opposite side of the spectrum, is Nora Ephron's I Remember Nothing. I love Nora Ephron. I love her. I don't know if we've ever really talked about her. I mean, obviously, you know who she is. But her books are just so wonderful. They, you know, if you I know you watched When Harry Met Sally and everything, but if you haven't read one of her books, you got to do it. Like right now, like go on Amazon, buy it used, you know, because I mean, it's terrible to say, but you can buy books used, you know, why not? Why not buy a book that's in very good condition for $1 when you can then, as opposed to buying it for $12, save yourself some money. Anyway, I love her books because the way that she writes, it's just conversational. I feel like she is sitting in front of me and is having a full-blown conversation with me. And maybe, you know, that's what you like about me, by the by. People say that to me. They say, you know, I like your videos and da-da-da. I feel like I know you, blah, blah. But I'm not comparing myself to Nora Ephron. She is an absolute genius. I love her. It's wonderful. And I will say this, if you want to know her life story, I just finished the book Heartburn that she wrote. Now, there was a movie. I think it came out in like 1983. Heartburn is an older book, but it feels very contemporary. It was very, it was way ahead of its time. And also another one talking about sex, dropping F-bombs, you know, the whole thing. And what I love about Heartburn is it's actually very similar to her real life story. You know, she was married 3 times, but her second marriage, who she had kids with, you know, and she was completely devastated in the whole thing. Whatever. It's kind of a famous story if you know her background. I'm not going to get into it, but she takes her story, you know, and you know, fictionalizes it, if that's a word, and puts it in Heartburn, writes it about Heartburn, and just changes the name of the main character, her, and the job, instead of her being, you know, an author and a screenplay writer, she's a cookbook writer, and it's just so good. It's so good, and it's so real, and you just gotta. That's it. Like when I told Chris, by the way, he was like, "Oh, I love Nora Ephron." I was like, "Have you ever read anything that she wrote? Like read?" And he was like, "No." And I'm like, "No, you have to." And he never will. Like he absolutely never will. Okay. Someone said to me, they said, "What do you do when your kids aren't with you?" And I was like, they said, "Don't you go out?" Wait, who was? Oh, no, I was at the gym, right? I was at the gym and I was talking to this guy, and he's like 23 years old. And he's like, "When your kids aren't with you, like, do you go out and party?" And I was like, "Party?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Why? Don't you want to feel young again?" And I was so taken aback. That was like the first time that I had one of those moments. You know those moments where somebody says to you, "You remind me of my mother. You remind me of my aunt." You know, and I had that moment of like, oh my God, like I am as old as I am, and I'm not that old, right? But that's what everybody says when they're like 40, you know, or like late 30s or early 40s. They're like, I'm not that old. Yeah. But anyway, so he said, "What do you do?" So I told him, I said, I work, you know, I do stand up all over the city. I run my set around. I write, I do a ton of writing. I read a lot, and I watch TV. And he's like, "Well, don't you want to have fun?" And I was like, "Well, that is fun to me." I said, and like fun is also fun is different as you get older. I said, like, I kind of want to have fun with my kids and like see the world through their eyes, you know. But it was interesting when he said, "Don't you want to be young again?" or "Don't you want to feel young again?" It's just like, anyway, some of the stuff I did watch, the biopic of Brian Wilson, fabulous. Brian Wilson, the famous from the Beach Boys. First of all, he's in his 80s. He's still alive and kicking. He's still on the road. He still goes on tour. It's probably one of the best biopics I've ever seen. He's like a savant, how he hears the music and writes the music and performs and all that. Definitely worth watching. Truffle Hunters is on my list. I have it right here in front of me. I am dying to watch this. I haven't yet. This movie is about the truffle hunters in Italy. So all of the men and their dogs that go out into the woods and search for truffles. It's supposed to be the most beautiful movie. I don't know how I heard about it. I think someone told me about it, or in passing. And I watched the trailer, and if you want to have a night where you're watching a movie like with a nice glass of wine and you want to feel like elegant and, you know, artsy and not like having mindless TV binge, this is the movie. And I haven't even seen it yet. The trailer has gorgeous music. The sound, everything was like I was a couple weeks ago watching it, but it was like gorgeous, and the pictures were like just beautiful, and it was like this tiny trailer enveloped me. It made me want to like go to this part of Italy, and like put on a pair of cargo pants, you know, like Italian beautiful cloth cargo pants, and like go on a country walk with these men. It looks marvelous, and I'm waiting for that night when I can watch it, and it hasn't come yet. But other things that I watched on the total opposite side of the spectrum is, you know, I love crime docs, and The Beauty Queen Killer was great on Hulu. Perfect Wife was great. The Mysterious Disappearance of Sherry Papini. Okay, well, this is all I gotta say on this one. There's no spoiler alerts. If you're gonna watch one of these two crime docs, watch The Perfect Wife, because the whole thing is jaw-dropping, crazy, bizarro. You're gonna be shocked. Every short episode is gonna be, you're gonna be like, wait, what? Like, it's just wild. I watched it in one night. And while I was watching it, I was on the group chat with my mom and sisters, like in all caps, being like, is anybody else watching this? Can somebody else watch this? How crazy is this? Nobody's even answering me, but that's fine. We have a wedding this weekend. My cousin's getting married. I've totally dropped the ball on like what I'm gonna wear. I'm just, I can't even. I like life just comes at you, right? And because it's, speaking of the group chat, you know, they're like, what are you wearing? What do you wear? And it's like, I'm like, I have a couple outfits, and then I try on the couple outfits. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I don't even know if I want to wear these dresses, you know? One of them is like a pinkish purple, you know, fitted dress, sheer with marabou fur at the bottom. It's very cute, but it doesn't have a slit, you know? So it's like I have to walk around like a Barbie doll, you know, like the whole night, like teetering. And then the other one is a knit olive green two-piece, you know, number with like it's not a bead, it's not a sequin, it's not a paillette, it's definitely not a rhinestone. Maybe it's a teeny tiny rhinestone, but it's you know, kind of like ombre all over the knit, you know, two-piece thing. And that's nice, but it's also not dressy. But the wedding's also in Connecticut, so it's like, you know, it's the Connecticut Italian. So it's like, you know, Connecticut Italian, do we need to be so dressy? You know, I don't know. So I'm disappointed with myself. Like, I look good in jewel tones. Why didn't I go pick up, you know, a purple number, for a royal purple number from somewhere? I can't tell you. That's the thing. When you particularly stand-up comedy, when you do stand-up, you're constantly writing, you're constantly on the grind, going out, running your material all over the city with the goal, as you know, to tour, right? And because nobody wants to, when you go see the big comics out on the road, you know, and you're paying, you know, your money to see somebody, even if you're seeing a comic headline in a club, if they're doing an hour, the amount of time that it took them to get to that hour, if they are good, it takes a tremendous amount of time. Jerry Seinfeld says famously, it takes a comic 10 years to get a good 20 minutes of material. I don't agree with it takes that long, but I do agree that it takes a very long time, and it depends on how much you write and all that stuff. So when you do comedy, you are so in it, you're in the cut, and you're running around, and you're thinking about your material, and then you add up, you know, other things. You have your children, and your shopping, and whatever, and your bills, and it's like the last thing I'm thinking about is like buying a jewel-toned gown for the wedding. And the craziest thing is I love to shop. I absolutely love the hunt. I want to find something gorgeous. I want to look gorgeous at the wedding, you know, and now here I am. Like, do I think black shoes and a black choker will match a baby pink dress? Like, maybe I could do like a Elle Woods kind of look for the night, you know. Anyway, on the Upper East Side, Daily Provisions open. Danny Meyer's place, you know, he owns famous restaurateur. He owns Union Square Cafe, The Modern, so chic. I don't even know if The Modern's open anymore in Midtown. Shake Shack. Daily Provisions is a little, I don't even know how to describe it. It's a cafe. It's like, you know, they sell croissants and sandwiches and coffees and iced teas and all of that. And it's cute, it's chic. It's like a navy blue and gold with Carrera marble, like those are the colors, you know, that look. It's not designed for seating though. Like there are seats in it, but it's not designed for seating. Like the seats aren't comfortable, aka like pick up your food and get the hell out. Like that's I think like the vibe that they're going for. But they're hoping to be a national chain. They have them dotted around now. We'll see. If you live on the Upper East Side, if you're in Manhattan, you happen to be uptown, for the hospitals or whatever. Check it out. It's it's definitely it's very good. It's very good. But I took the girls to grab some. Oh, let's go check out Daily Provisions. They're like, okay, and they didn't have like a plain. They like croissants. They didn't have plain croissant or chocolate croissant. They had an everything croissant. So you see, it's like specific. They had an avocado toast with which my daughter Viv, she absolutely loves avocado toast, but it wasn't just avocado. It was like avocado with like roasted red peppers finely chopped on top. Mommy thought it was delicious. And by the way, before she likes avocado toast, the kid only wants to eat cream cheese sandwiches. We had to get her off cream cheese sandwich. I mean, she turned into a tub of cream cheese. Like, it's ridiculous. So she likes avocados, fine. And when we were in though, Daily Provisions, I'm sitting next to this tourist couple, which of course wants to talk, who want to talk. And I'm just like thinking like, people, I'm with my kids. Like we're like a grab and go situation. Like I don't want to have, I don't want to have a whole like, cause they're like, want to talk about the neighborhood. I'm very cordial and I love to stop and talk to people on the street. But like, they were older. And it's like their first time in New York. Like that's a lot. Okay. So I think they picked up on my I can't really talk right now energy. They focused on the man on the opposite side of them who lived in the neighborhood. And he said to them, if you want to go to a nice restaurant on the Upper East Side where the crowd is older and the food's really good, neighborhood gem, Dewey, he said. I've never been to Dewey. I went like the next night. I went with Chris. It's on 3rd Avenue and 80th. It's right next door to Luke's Bar and Grill. Food, nice, very nice crowd. Bread on the table when you get there. White tablecloth restaurant. Nice crowd. When I say nice crowd, like I brought the average age down. So it's like a 60 and up place, but the food was great. I got a lemon chicken thing, like a dish, like chicken francese, but like no capers and like not as like bready. It was very good. It was very good. And honestly, they could have given me another piece of chicken because I felt like how they do it. They take like a chicken breast, right? And these restaurants, and they must slice it horizontally, like so many times, like 6 times, and they pound it so thin. And then they get this thin, big piece of chicken breast, and then they probably cut it in half, right down the middle. So then they have these 2 very big, or not even very big. You have these 2, large-ish chicken breasts, but they're thin. So, you can eat that in a second. You know what I'm saying? So anyway. Food was very good. Dewey, I recommend. So glad I overheard this guy. I was like, great, great. And then I also tried that I wanted to tell you, Emmy's Squared. It's a chain. Everybody has been talking about it because it's a pizzeria. It's also over there. What do I have it written down? 81st and 3rd. Detroit style pizza, which we talked about. It's like a Sicilian, Chicago-y deep dish square. Delicious, just delicious, absolutely delicious. Wasn't the biggest fan of the bathroom cleanliness, just TBH, like, and that bothers me. Like, Chris is always like, do you have ever nice things to say? Like, and I'm like, yeah, I do. I say nice things all the time, but like, I said, I'm with you all the time, and you hear it all. Like, sometimes we go to the diner, and I'm like, and he'll say, how are the eggs? And I'll say, good. And I'll say, but they could use a little more salt. And then he'll say, do you have anything just like totally nice to say? Like, that bothers him. Why? Why does that bother you? Anyway, the pizza, chef's kiss, so good. It's the kind of pizza that's so good because the crust around, like the around part, like what am I describing? I'm describing this like a child. The perimeter of the pizza is all well done, delicious. They cook it. They bake it in a sheet pan because that's how they put it on the table for you. Like maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch high or deep sheet pan, and then the pizza itself is doughy but not doughy where like it's stuck in your teeth doughy. And then if you get pepperoni, it's not like the pepperoni is like that Hormel large flat pepperoni, you know, that's just on a pizza. It's like small pepperoni that almost, when it's cooked, it's made like little upside down suction cups, so it's like, you know, it's crispy, you know, and inside each little pepperoni suction cup almost is like a couple of drops of oil that like came up from the pepperoni. It's like the pepperoni juice. Like, I mean, this is, by the way, this is why I have a weight issue. This is why I'm constantly going from, you know, size 2 to 24. Okay, that's a little extreme, but this is why I am never the same size. I am never, because I think about this. I think about little pepperonis on top of pizzas that are crispy, that have little pepperoni juice. That's why. Okay, anyway, just do yourself a favor. Go to Emmy Squared, it's very good. And if a note to Emmy Squared, they're never gonna listen to this. Clean your bathrooms, all right? Clean your bathrooms. Let me actually say one more thing. The pizza, as you know, fantastic. Sometimes when you go to these places, they try to do other things. They had this watermelon salad. Ugh, I got it. I was like, because I love watermelon salad. And I like I'm like you know, you probably like it how I like it, right? Like watermelon, you know, maybe some feta, some balsamic glaze. That's it. Maybe a mint leaf, a basil leaf, whatever. This place, they had, it was watermelon, burrata, pickled radish. I think it was pesto drizzle, crushed red pepper, and I think they had like limes on it. And I was like, what's going on here? Like, it was, I ate it, you know, of course. Like, I ate it. It was hot out, and I wanted the watermelon, and I liked the burrata. But it, you know, it's one of those salads that was trying to be too many things to too many people. Like, just like simple sometimes is the best. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Why is this podcast feel like days go by and it is turning into a food podcast? Okay, I am not a chef, although, you know, maybe I am a home cook. I did used to have a food blog, NYC Home Cook. Anyway, but I think it's because it's so much. To us, you, me, our landsmen, our people, food is our love language, right? We eat together, we enjoy meals together, we drink together, we cook for each other. You know, it's like, that's it. Like, you know, so I think that's just what I probably like to talk about. And, you know, and that's fine. A friend of mine, she's a comic, she said, oh, you know, like, I'm not like big into podcasts, but like, you know, do you talk about comedy and all this stuff? And I'm just like, no, like, they don't want to hear about that. Like, yeah, you could hear my opinion on Adam Sandler's new special, but by the way, I did watch a few minutes of it. Adam Sandler's new special, totally kooky. Didn't get through it yet though, not because I didn't like it, just because I didn't. I'm like wanting to be super focused on it. But anyway, watch that too. Watch that. I love Adam. He's one of us. He goes down to Greenwich Village, if you don't know, on 6th Avenue, and he plays basketball in the courts, like with all the guys that play. Like, how do you not love that? Like, he shows up in like Adidas pants and a hoodie, and he starts playing. And, you know, yeah, like just pick up basketball or whatever. Like, anyway, just totally down to earth. Okay. Product of the week, of course, is a food product. Santa Cruz lemon juice. Have you tried this? I always bought regular, you know, the real lemon brand lemon juice, or I bought the little plastic lemon. Like, are you even Italian if you don't have a plastic lemon or plastic lime that actually squirts out juice in your fridge? Anyway, but one of the stores, I think it was Key Food, they had Santa Cruz lemon juice, organic lemon juice, whatever, in a glass bottle, on sale. Usually it's like $6.99. It was on sale for $2.99, and I was like, add to cart. And I've been brewing iced tea, which has been so nice. I got a great glass mason jar pitcher from Amazon. I can't remember. if I did a product of the week on that. But if you go on Amazon and you type in like glass mason jar pitcher, you can't put the tea in hot though. I already broke one because of that. But I've been brewing decaf English breakfast tea, letting it cool off, and then adding, like, I don't know, like a quarter of a cup or less, maybe like a sixth of a cup of this Santa Cruz lemon juice. And you could really use any lemon juice, but for whatever reason, anytime I've used that real lemon juice or like store brands like lemon juice, Crasdale, whatever, it has like an artificial taste to it. So this Santa Cruz, it tastes like, it really does taste like, no pun, like real lemons. Delicious. If you find it, try it. I haven't tried the lemon juice, Santa Cruz lemon juice, in a recipe. I think if you're making like a lemon cookie or a lemon glaze, I've tried using bottled lemon juice for that in the past, and it ruins it. I haven't tried this. I don't know if that's gonna work, but more on that another time. Anyway, quote of the day, Japanese proverb, fall 7 times, stand up 8. Never stop, keep going. I should take that advice for myself. I'm Elyse DeLucci. Love to love you, baby.